Tharzi Vomsarg, and it's the 28th of the 8th month of 1438. I'm focusing on TFR this year. Oh yeah, Tharzi Vomsarg means peace be upon you, but Enochian Thoughts Take a Dark Turn. And there's more information, some entities that won't be mentioned here in the 5 books of mystery, TFR. The Cotton Appendix, which TFR is from, is actually better to look at because there's not the transcription errors, but some of the other Enochian material or Enochian related material. There's 1,700 pages or something that Dee wrote, and that would be good to look at here. But let's get started here with that paper, Enochian Thoughts Take a Dark Turn. As I close this month of Enochian magic, let me share some of the darker concepts I came across. Some will say the demons of the fire tablet are the jinn. Experience and etymology tell me that gnomes, sylphs, undines, salamanders, and the elements by any other fitting name in any language are all jinn, which at least one point were all led by Iblis. No, Shaitan, continual scourge. Well, Malak is the top of the Qabalistic, and I know Qabalistic isn't Enochian, but I thought, let's color it the same. Names of God, centers of the human, the light beings, the fire beings. Okay, you know. Other than Corone Zone, that's what Dee called it. Corone Zone, that's what Cosbound called it. And Coronzon, that's what Crowley called it. What is your favorite Enochian demon? Again, comment section, people. I personally would have to say something on the water tablet, or maybe even the fire tablet. Whether as an Enochian purist, a New Ager who follows an altered form of the material, or just someone who incorporates some of the material, some will say that Enochian is a satanic language in itself, or in some of its basic use. What do you say? Or what say you? Okay. Yeah. It seems that it may be the case that when people worship angels and even Jesus, have their prayers answered by jinn. It seems that Frater W.I.T. was blessed by knowing the elementals mentioned with Enochian existed beyond what his thoughts and feelings could imagine, but he was essentially ungrateful for his denial of the very existence of those who refused to prostrate along with Iblis. So he was graced by the company of jinn, but he dishonored them by denying them. No matter what the original source or intent of Enochian magic, the end result is a source of information that pertains to more than the 64 great table demons listed upon the great table. Now there's 3 ways to order it. There's up to 4 variations per square. But you see one order here, and you have, you don't have the lettering. But you have the governor's sigil name, the sigils. Okay, the 64 great table demons listed on the late Benjamin Rowie is the source of the following demonic rulers and cacodemons they control. There are also the combinations with the 4 pairs of 2 letters on the other side of the crosses of the quadrangles. Heir of Air, you have Azkal and Malap, controlling Xoi, Appa, Urub, Padeh. Water of air. Ya-o a no Yahweh and Tieo controls Cobb, Ona, Moke, Osh. So those 4 3-letter named demons. Earthbear, Zurumvoa, and Yaula controls Kak, Onip, Mott, and Apam. Fire of air, Atogbo, and Okba controls Ksto, and Rupa Pusa. Air of water, Rupaline and Bemimo controls Xma, Ali, Revs, and Perv. Water of water, Yadalam and Dalo controls Kapa, Owned, Mia, and Axer. Earth of water, Dasai and Apata controls Kakosp, Ova, Mada, and Arn. There's a demon named Arn and a author. Okay. Fire of water, Yogna and Xanu controls May, Or, Curse, and Hiez. Air of earth, Miana and Nidnos controls Mom, Ogub, yeah, Curl, and Hya. Water of earth, Tipalaba and Zebra controls Rope, Ado, Kasurks, and Eax. Earth of earth, Rienmapo and Zieple controls Rumps, Aya, X is, and East. Fire of earth, Rumlaun and Gaulo controls Mope, Wap, Kasuk, and Hava. Earth, air of fire, Yeladav and Avabo controls Mugum, Oik, Cam, and Hubber. Water of fire, Odexlove and Adois controls Rudda, Ade, Xo, and Irg. Earth of fire, Runnoiser and Mavzern controls Rod, Ase, Xpa, and Eak. EAK. See the Satan and Satanism list as I talk about somebody with the EAK initials. Fire of fire, fire. Ogyode and Asdra controls Kuz, Atto, Ruse, and Puffin. As far as elements go, some might say fire is inherently evil, or most evil. As a child and young adult, physical fire particularly moved me. I would scry using candlelight, or into fires by instinct. The Baptist evangelical category church I was in had banned scrying over a century prior, because too many came forward with claims of revelation, which kind of, it was probably psychic as much as anything. Or the spirits could be a little bit less particular in who they communicate with. With Haon, the fire tablet, and invoking Pa'am, fire of spirit, as a being, the results some have had been particularly demonic. I personally don't fear any of these beings, but it can be rather intense at times. Stepping aside from the traditional 19 divisions of the Enochian elemental tablets and the 64 demons listed, experience tells me that, as with the Bonorum, the last video I did showed that tablet, there might be classifications for each of the 675 squares and even the remaining combinations. One such entity name that came in a vision was like unto a god name, but with a square off to the side and another with an additional letter, making a name 9 characters. Instead of 7, I think? Yeah. Just as air dominates the symbolism in my scent offerings, my Enochian experiences can be said to be more connected to Gono Ahat than any other elemental tablet. In general, I feel more connected to the jinn that fall under the category of air than any other element. It goes beyond merely the mind or the intellectual. Today I get out the Eolite and meditate in the 15th author, Oxo, of dancing. The Tablet of Union, Ixarp, air, Hakoma, water, Nanta, earth, Gitome, that's the transliteration. Essentially, we can say this implies that fire is the foundation or center of our universe. Ihnub, spirit of spirit, Kske, air of spirit, Aunt, water of spirit, Rumto, earth of spirit, Palm, fire of spirit, and other ways of reading the Tablet of Union are not beings. Magic squares and Ors Tilok are the Black Cross, Black Death, with its unlettered squares, can be a method and medium for the unseen beings, devotional service, and psychiatric unfoldment. Can you unlock the mystery of the 11 unlettered squares? In the Enochian authors, Earth gives the themes void, work, sustenance, traveling, change, acceptance, solitude, doubt, and heavenly mercy. Earth has 156 squares, just the same as air, water, and fire do. 156 was also the number of names given by Vivaltia in his Komsilha, or with the circle ritual, back in the middle of the morning of January 31st, 2004. The difference that sets the Ha'auth apart is that it clearly has more in its more variety, and it's 156 squares than anything else in the Enochian system. This implies that more spirits are hinted at. That can be confirmed in the frequency of linguistic concepts of undefinable, ancient, secret, material, ability, our substance. Our substance. No, that too. The spirits were here before humans and are of a different type of matter. So why would they not have different abilities, right? You know? As far as the governors are concerned, the Ha'oth, or the Enochian Tablet of Earth, is one with all 22 of its names in a row. These are number 66 through 87, and 66 is also Lex Dizzy, or Lex Dixie from the Hubyevaton, or the Enochian Tablet of Water. So it depends on whether you have 92, then you don't have the 22 in a row, but anyways. I also believe that the Sigilia implied that something other than the same light beings or unfallen angels are all that is responding to these graven signs. I've had a hard time believing that a god would let a person control the world because they learned 92 puzzle pieces. Coronzome, according to John D. Coronzone, according to Aleister Crowley. Coronzon, according to Merritt Casaubon. Of the crossroads, might actually come forth from the 11 blank squares, or be defined by that blank no-thingness that is not one of their gods that can be so named or controlled. So you think by being a great magician you're going to outpower Satan, or by, you know, doing your forbidden magics, it's not going to happen. Satan's not going to be yours just because you call him up. It's ridiculous. Among the Enochian Great Table of 25 by 27 squares, 3 categories of governor names are not consecutive. There is spirit, are all 4 elements, fire, and water. The sequence of 92 starts and ends with water. Water is numbers 1 through 15. The L in Leek Sarp, first breather, unmanifest, beginning manifestation, start of air moving, of 28. 31 and 32. Lex Dixe, first with superior names, is the second of number 65, and 88 through 91. Fire is numbers 16 through 27 and 33 through 42. Spirit is numbers 28 through 30. Spirit also includes one, or who has eyes, in backwards letters if you regard this name as spirit for being on all 4 elemental tablets. This is seen in 2 squares on Earth as R, or O, and A. On air, in the spots where you don't have the things, you have O and A. On water, there's a square that we have N, R, L, R, Y, R, H, and I separate. Finally, we have P, or O, and A on fire. I'm not remembering the Enochian names, but that will help you to read them when you see them. Spirit represented as the Tablet of Union and the Black Cross, 25, 27. shows forth a peculiar mystery. It is connected to more demon names than anything else. It also gives the first letter to an archangel or god names, but the demons outnumber them. Why does a letter of spirit start the cacodemon names the same way they do with the god name over 16 angels in each quadrangle? So 16 quadrangles, 16 angles. Angels per quadrangle, okay. This may show the direct connection to one spirit that both a god and a demon can have. Who do you want to have a relationship with? Anton Casander LaVey may not have been accurate in his portrayal of the Enochian keys, but he did make a point in that the same names and concepts can be used to refer to either a god or a demon. Be that an accurate depiction or not. The point is that Enochian can form an important and detailed framework for a variety of belief systems. I've taken on the Enochian as a middle ground for comparative religion and interfaith activity, where no one has to compromise their beliefs to practice. These tablets, with up to 4 combinations per square, are placed around the Black Cross in 3 possible combinations, reading right to left. Each has air in the upper right quadrant. That attributed to Michael in the west of my living room. Well, this is outside of it, so you're going to see that. It places fire in the lower right. Oh, fire in the lower right, water in the lower left, and earth in the upper left. The version of Liber Scientia is in the east. Well, it wasn't the east. This has water in the lower right corner, fire in the lower left, and earth in the upper left. The Reformed Tablet of Raphael has earth in the lower right, fire in the lower left, and water in the upper left quadrant. So yes, this is the Raphael tablet. But I am not saying that it's the Raphael of the Bible. These Enochian entities are not the unfallen angels. Or at least the ones that spoke to Dee were not. Now, I do not believe that the entities John Dee and his scribes directly communicated were of the unfallen angels, the Malaka, or those, those holy beings. I believe they were fallen angels, also known as jinn or fire beings. Not all the ways of these beings are to be opposed. Some of them have what is good and true by itself, and some of it is rightful teachings with certain intentions and context. 21 combinations of how to order the 4 tablets were not mentioned in the original sources by John Dee and his scribes. This matches the number of letters in the Enochian system and the Enochian alphabet. The number of letters in the Enochian alphabet matches the total number of stones, that is the minimal goal cast in the stoning of the 3 spots of temptation on Hajj. And, Mecca, Saudi Arabia is the name of the country now. Just as Sigilia Amath, I painted a multicolored version with Enochian instead of transliterations, is a sort of combination lock of the mysteries of that part of the system. Enochian can be used as a system more and more. Enochian can be used as a system, okay. More and more people are embracing their shadows and using Enochian magic as an apocalyptic tool and in service of Satan. What will you do with it, if you so work this spiritual art and science? And you may have noticed in my border here that I fixed some of the misspellings that have occurred over the years since the time of the prophets that are mentioned in the Bible. So why does it say Shathan wa Malak, as in Malak Towels, I guess, is part of the reason. But Shathan is a continual scourge. Sathan is the adversary. Oh, you don't see the N there, but it's so yeah, in the, you see a fix there, and I think you see a fix there in terms of the language, but I did that intentionally because, as you see, Sathan, Shaitan, and Shathan are all the top devil. But anyways, there's more to the jinn than the demons. Some don't make that decision. And they're whatever entities welcome to join me and communicate with me. They're, I'm not going to chase them away because they're different. Fitharzi Vomsarg. Peace be upon every one of you.